I would like to rest your worries now. There will not be any jump scares in this video. Don't worry, I hate them too. That said, the content of this character may still be a little unsettling to some people, so as such, viewer discretion is advised. Freddy Fazbear from Five Nights at Freddy's, the series of horror games that took the world by storm. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that, considering how quickly each game came out one after another. Freddy is the mascot of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, a pizzeria very much in the same vein as the ever-popular Chuck E. Cheese. And just like Chuck E. Cheese, Fazbear's Pizza even has creepy-looking animatronics that were made to entertain kids on stage. Except these animatronics don't stay on their stage, as they have a function called free roaming mode, which allows them to walk around the pizzeria freely. And during the night, they hunt for poor underpaid security guards to stuff into animatronic suits. But not before completely stressing players out and giving them the loudest jump scare of a lifetime. Now there is a lot of lore behind this series, with more being added every time something new is made for the Five Nights franchise. It's pretty complicated, but to give a rough summary of what we can gather, there seemed to have been a series of child murders that happened at the pizzeria, and their bodies were stuffed into the animatronic suits to hide them. Only then for the spirits of the departed kids to take possession of the mascots. And that's about as far as I'm willing to go with this story. Even with all the research that I've done, there's still elements that I don't fully understand, nor care to want to try and understand. Plus, none of that is really important to this moveset as a whole. So enough dawdling, let's get right into how Freddy would be if he were to free roam his way to Smash. Freddy Fazbear being a horror-themed character, I feel should be designed as such, but not necessarily scary for the players. He'd have movements and such that would be unsettling to watch, for sure, but I think he'd have attacks and moves that would be more terrifying from the perspective of the other characters that he'd be fighting. But his playstyle would still definitely be one that would cause a lot of pressure and stress for the other players who have to face him, not unlike the poor fools willing to subjugate themselves to playing the Five Nights games. Freddy would be a pretty heavy character, not surprising since he is a big and bulky animatronic made of metal and dead-rotting children. He'd only have 2 jumps and no additional movement options. When designing this moveset for Freddy Fazbear, there were some key elements that I wanted to emphasize. 1, he's a robotic animatronic who's really seen better days. 2, he's the mascot of a pizzeria. 3, he's a bear. And 4, he's a horror character who's actually out for your stocks. So getting right into things, Freddy could have a 3-hit jab that could lead into a rapid jab, with the first 2 hits being a swing from each arm one at a time, with his mic arm always swinging second, and the 3rd hit having him do a quick bite forwards. Get used to that now, by the way. Freddy's like to bite. His rapid jab will have him constantly bite over and over and over again, making horrible noises as he does, and ending with a big bite when the rapid jab ends. Oh, and I'll go ahead and mention this now, but Freddy actually will have a little gimmick where any attack that involves biting actually will have a small chance to poison opponents unlucky enough to have their frontal lobes not on. The poisoning bites make reference to the toxic bite attack that we see in the RPG spin-off game, FNAF World. His dash attack will be a leaping pounce where he lunges his whole body forwards and then crashes on the ground. This idea comes from the notion of horror monsters making that final leap for their victims while they're chasing them. Also bear, because bears will do that too. This dash attack hits hard, but is sluggish, having a bit of start lag and some end lag as he has to get up after falling on the ground. His side tilt would be a quick leaning forwards bite. It hits hard, comes out pretty quick, has a chance to poison, but it does have some end lag. His up tilt can show him temporarily malfunctioning for a second, causing his head to violently shake from side to side. His head, of course, is the hitbox. Hits hard, and has some end lag as the glitch and has some end lag as the glitch in his hardware goes away. For his down tilt, well, actually before that, whenever Freddy crouches, he'll just go limp and his eyes would switch off, looking just like Golden Freddy. Now for his down tilt, he'd quickly lunge his head forwards as his neck extends for a quick low to the ground bite. Can these endoskeletons actually extend their joints like that? I don't know, but it's creepy, and it also makes reference to when Golden Freddy jump scares the player. For Freddy's side smash, Freddy would do what Freddy's do best. Scream! He'd scream loudly forwards, emitting strong sound waves that deal big damage to the poor deaf saps in their path. He would have some limited super armor while he charges for this smash, and it would cover a wide space in front of Freddy, but it would have some end lag. For his up smash, this can make reference to how Freddy jump scares players, with him starting from below the player's view before jumping up and wildly waving his limbs around. The smash could start with Freddy crouched down as he charges, and when releases, he'll quickly stand up, flailing his arms and head around. The action of just standing up deals big damage, and his flailing arms and head deal smaller damage, but still generally enough to send hit foes a fair distance away. This way you won't need to worry about the end lag of the move too much. It also has some super armor as he charges and at the very beginning of the attack. For his down smash, to take advantage of his more than likely articulatable body, he would spin his waist only while doing the splits, and spin his legs around multiple times. He would deal multiple flinching hits of damage before launching foes with the final hit. For the neutral aerial, Freddy's body can begin to short circuit and emit a lot of electricity around himself, shocking any poor sucker too close. It would come out very quick. In fact, it would be one of Freddy's fastest attacks in terms of frame data, and it would hit foes multiple times before launching them with the final hit if it connects properly. His forward aerial can be a quick bite forwards, which again has a chance to poison. His back air can have Freddy spin the upper half of his body a single time while holding his arms ahead, swinging them backwards horizontally to attack. His up air can have him quickly spin his arms in full circles multiple times to attack upwards to deal multiple flinching hits of damage before launching foes with the final hit, pretty much working just like another fellow robot, Rob. Actually, Rob kinda looks like an animatronic endoskeleton. Do you think Freddy would try to shove him into a mascot suit? What kind of mascot animal do you think Rob would be? I don't even know why I asked. Anyways, for Freddy's down air, he'd just do a falling body slam, falling straight down with his whole body out. Cause I imagine that it would be pretty scary to look up and see about 500 pounds of metal and fur careening straight at you. This move would hit hard, spike if it connects at the very beginning of the move, and it would have some end lag once it hits the ground. But it will end after a bit if used high enough in the air or off the stage, allowing you a chance to be able to recover so long as you didn't go too low. Freddy would grab by latching onto your frontal lobe with a large bite. Despite being a bite though, grabbing itself cannot poison you. However, his pummel, which will have Freddy bite down even harder, does have a small chance to poison. His forward throw can have Freddy scream while the foe is in his mouth, destroying their eardrums while also launching them slightly forwards. The back throw can have Freddy spin only his upper body in circles while the foe is still lodged in his mouth until he finally lets go, sending them backwards. This throw would be his most dangerous kill throw. The up throw can have Freddy slam the foe so hard into the ground that they bounce into the air. And for his down throw, he'd short circuit and power down while the foe is still stuck in his mouth, leading Freddy to just fall forwards, with his lifeless but heavy body crushing the foe underneath, dealing big damage and burying them into the ground. Having a move that buries, I think, is appropriate for Freddy, cause you don't know true fear until you're at your opponent's mercy after they bury you in Smash. Just waiting as they loom over you, charging up their Smash attack. You furiously mashing your buttons, hoping you'll be able to get free in time before they take your stock forever. Also, bears like to dig holes, so why not? Now for Freddy Fazbear's special attacks, these will be some of his most frightening moves in the arsenal. For his neutral special, he'd throw his microphone forwards as a projectile. Okay, I lied, the neutral special isn't that scary. It's just a basic projectile with gravity. He'll throw his mic forwards a fair distance, it'll deal a decent amount of damage, and it'll soon hit the ground after being tossed, leading it to disappear. And as soon as he does throw it, he'll just pull out a new mic from his hammer space. If you're gonna be the lead singer, you gotta be well prepared with your microphones after all. This move makes reference to the mic toss attack from FNAF World. His side special will also be an attack from FNAF World, but this one I promise will be much scarier. It could be an attack known as Sludge. This was a debuffing attack in FNAF World that lowered your enemy's speed. So for Smash, it could have Freddy barf out a large amount of nasty looking sludge forwards from his mouth. The puked up sludge doesn't go very far, but when it hits the ground, it'll leave a puddle there that lasts for 10 seconds at a time. If any opponent is hit by the sludge or steps in the puddle, their running and jumping speed will be reduced for 10 seconds. This very idea and concept is terrifying. Imagine trying to run away from something that you know wants to kill you, but for some reason you're moving slow, allowing said something that wants to kill you to catch up. We've all had these kinds of nightmares, and they never get any less terrifying. Anyways, Freddy is immune to his own sludge, but it can be reflected before it becomes a puddle on the ground, in which case, then it would be able to affect Freddy. Now for his up special, for this idea, I need to give full credit to my buddy Photon Bandit, also known as Devin. He came up with this idea while I was chatting with him about this moveset, and it was just so good that I had to include it. It would have Freddy teleport.
But I thought you hated teleports!
Yes, I usually try to avoid those if there's something else more appropriate. But in this case, theming is everything. Whenever Freddy teleports, he would disappear and reappear behind a static screen. This references how when you're keeping a lookout for the animatronics through security cameras, and the short amount of static that appears while the screen changes between cameras. On top of that, there could be times where you can look through a camera to see an animatronic, change to a different camera, then immediately change back only for said animatronic to already be gone, and appear in a totally new location almost instantaneously, almost like they teleported. So while Freddy can't technically teleport, it's mostly more so giving off the illusion that you're changing cameras and Freddy quickly moved to a new location while you weren't looking. As for how it would function, it's still pretty much your run-of-the-mill teleport. It deals no damage, but can be sent into any direction, and it will put Freddy into freefall. And finally, for Freddy's down special, he would do a jump scare.
Excuse me, you said at the beginning of the video that you weren't doing jump scares.
What? Wait, I'm not actually going to scare you guys with a jump scare, it's just that I just can't win. Anyways, this would be a status attack, having Freddy scream forwards, and anyone directly in front of him will be dealt a small amount of damage as well as stunned, with the stun time scaling based on their current damage. Yet another attack that will leave you at the Murderbot's mercy. And another thing, this special actually will be doubled in effectiveness if you can hit a foe with it from behind. After all, being jump scared from the front may be bad, but from behind, that's a whole different demon. The foe will only be stunned if they're on the ground when it connects, by the way. If it hits them in the air, they'll just be launched away. Freddy's final smash would no doubt be the scariest of them all. It could be a cinematic final smash that can only catch one foe at a time, starting with Freddy emitting some electricity straight forwards to catch a foe. If it does catch someone, the poor sap will be brought to a night guard room, where suddenly the lights just turn off. Then behind the foe, you'll see Freddy's silhouette in the darkness while his eyes flicker and hear a little bit of his Theodore jingle. That is until the foe turns around and is immediately jump scared by Freddy, who screams in their face. This smash will deal a ton of damage, and if they end up with more than 100%, it's an automatic KO. This final smash overall makes reference to the FNAF game's gimmick of having limited power for the Night Guard to protect themselves with, and how if they run out of power, that usually spells their doom. Now there's been a lot of different bear animatronics to use as references when making alternate costumes for Freddy. A lot of these are just going to have to be colors though, not costumes, since some are too drastic in shape to be passable as a costume, and others are even missing limbs, so that just won't work. Anyways, Freddy's default outfit would have him in his iconic classic design that started it all in Five Nights at Freddy's 1. His first alternate color can make him blue, in reference to the rabbit animatronic Bonnie, or it can be based off the little Freddy ghost that Golden Freddy uses to attack in FNAF World. Next could be a red color, referencing the Fox animatronic Foxy, but it could also be a reference to the red bear enemy in FNAF World. Next could be a gold color that gives him a purple hat and tie, in reference to Fredbear, the original bear animatronic before Freddy, and the one who more than likely became who we know today as Golden Freddy. Here's a dreadful dull yellow color with black stripes and stains, referencing Phantom Freddy from Five Nights at Freddy's 3. Next is a really dark purple color, referencing Shadow Freddy from Five Nights at Freddy's 2. And next can be an alternate costume, where you can play as the kind of cuter but still terrifying Toy Freddy from Five Nights at Freddy's 2. And this costume can have a single alternate color that makes it white and pink, in reference to Funtime Freddy from Five Nights at Freddy's sister location. For the stage intro, it could show Freddy performing on a little stage of his own. That is until he enters free roam mode and steps off of it, ready to hunt for some night guards. For taunts, his first could have him pull out a fresh pizza and hold it into the air for a bit before shoving the whole thing into his mouth. He is a pizzeria mascot after all, and what kind of pizzeria mascot wouldn't want to show off their pizza? His second could have him just look towards the screen at the players. And that's it. This simple but creepy taunt references when the animatronics stare directly into the security cameras while you're trying to keep an eye on them. And his final taunt can show his eyes flickering for a second while you hear the first couple of notes from Toreador March. And finally, for victory animations, his first can have him singing, just like he does when he performs on stage during the day when he's not in free roam mode. His second is one that I was reluctant to give him, but it makes sense for his character, so I really don't have much choice. It would start with nothing on screen until he jumps out from below for a jump scare, referencing of course the game overs when Freddy and the other animatronics do just that. If they can jump scare you, that is a win for them after all. I wouldn't worry too much about it actually being an effective jump scare in Smash. If you see the FNAF icon appear but nothing on screen, you'd be able to see it coming no problem. Anyways, for the final victory animation, it can just show Freddy's body twitching as his circuitry glitches out and his eyes glow, until suddenly the lights in his eyes just go out and his body goes limp. This references the good ending of Five Nights at Freddy's 3, which showed the heads of the animatronics finally powered down, which implied that the children haunting them had finally departed and moved on. Huh, how about that? My first horror-themed character that I've covered, and it ends on a kind of lighter note. Well, regardless, that does it for What If Freddy Fazbear was in Smash. Freddy would certainly be an interesting character who would bring a new kind of zing into the Smash roster if he were to ever get in, and while I personally have never cared for the Five Nights games myself, I think Freddy would bring a new kind of fun that we haven't seen in Smash yet. He'd be creepy, he'd bring on the stress and the pressure, and I don't think there's another character in Smash that would be scarier. No, get your memes out of here! Anyways, if you liked what you saw and would like to see even more characters be given possible Smash movesets, be sure to subscribe. And if you'd like to support the show and help me be able to make more content for you guys while you also get some perks for doing so, you can click the join button either below the video or on my main page to become a member of my channel. I'd really appreciate anything that can be contributed. And of course, if you have a character that you'd like to see me given a possible Smash moveset, leave a comment down below or contact me on Twitter at BrawlFan1 on Twit. I hope you all enjoyed, thank you so much for watching, and have a happy Halloween!